you guys come in and check out the shop. So when you first come in the shop, it's pretty much my favorite area. It's going to be the welding table, all the cut-off wheels and all that good stuff, and pretty much anything fabrication related. So starting off, we've got the bandsaw here, which is just a Harbor Freight jobby here, but it works great and I have no complaints on it. This is kind of just my little bit of a grinder station and stuff like that. That's where I try to store all my consumables, down in this drawer. Here we've got a bead roller. It's made by Pro Tools, and then I just got a stand that I kind of made up on. First welder that we're going to come to is my Prime Weld 225, and it is a DC AC TIG stick machine. You can see right there it's made by Prime Weld. On over here to the second welder, or I guess I should say welders, is my two MIG welders, which we got a Lincoln 180 on top and then a Pro MIG 140 on the bottom. Usually I'll run a 130 wire up here just for a little bit of the heavier steel, up to 1/4 inch or so, and then on the bottom I'll usually run a 023 wire for sheet metal on these old trucks and everything like that. Over this way. So this is kind of one of my favorite benches. My dad gave this to me, but yeah, it gets a lot of fabrication on it. I know it's just a wood table, but it works out pretty well. Also, before we sneak past it, just a little homemade brake that I made. It's just basically like the swag off-road ones you can get, but it's just all custom that I did myself. And then put a little air over hydraulic bottle jack in there. That all turned out pretty nice. That's very handy anytime you need to bend a little bit of something a little thicker than sheet metal. Definitely helps you out. We've kind of got grinders, belt sanders, all that good stuff, skateboards when you need it. I'm sure you guys have kind of noticed throughout the videos, if you are a returning guest here, we've got a bunch of old signs around here, which is part of my pretty much addiction, I guess, which I just like the old signs. It makes everything look better. This is my metal brake that I just picked up. It needs a little bit of work. I haven't really had time, it doesn't feel like, to get around to actually doing something on this old thing. It needs tuned, as they say, I guess, so need to get on doing that. And this whole sheet metal section right here is actually going to be going into the shop right next door, and I will show you there because that's where my little Toyota Hilux is sitting at the moment. But we've got a planishing hammer here, English wheel, it's a deep jaw shrinker stretcher, and then a throatless shear. So I may do a video one of these days, just kind of a more in-depth on what some of these tools are. But that gives you just a rough idea of what I'm currently using in the shop. I'm not the best on any of this stuff, but that's why I got it, so I could try to get better. And also here, we've got what they call like a shrink station or something like that. Got a shot bag up top, and you can remove that. There's a nice 1/2 inch plate under there, and then there's dollies all around the perimeter of that, so that's really good for forming sheet metal and all that good stuff. Also got a unicycle. If any of you guys feel like you can ride it, I will gladly let you try. Starting here on the other side of the shop, we've got a pretty much full length loft here, which is super handy because there is a lot of junk up there. Got like a little forklift type thing here. It runs off 12 volt. It's electric over hydraulic. It's pretty cool. It'll lift pretty much all the way up to here. So I've got to get some casters working on this thing because they bind up a little bit and it is a pain to move. But that thing is super handy to lift anything. Got all of our paint supplies back here in this little cabinet. Pretty much just an array of spray paint and different stuff. Got our torch set here. And then one of my favorite tools in the shop, which I just think is really cool, is the South Bend 9A lathe, which I picked up for a heck of a steal down in Evansville. But on the back side of this, there's just a bunch of pretty much kind of junk, but it's rusty gold to me. But if you zoom in here, Hill, you will see kind of the beginnings of what the truck looked like when we picked it up, which I'll get to that in just a second. That is the 64 that we built, but my mom was nice enough to make that for me, so I'm going to probably take that down to Southeastern Truck Nationals and display that so people get an idea of where the truck came from. Alright, on to the tools. The toolbox is just a 66-inch Husky, I believe. Don't let the Snap-on logo fool you. It is not Snap-on, but it's a nice piece, and got sockets here. I'm not going to do a toolbox tour unless you guys really want that. It's kind of got nut and bolt storage, just miscellaneous really in this one. Just anything that comes off a car that I feel like could be used, I'll stick it in here. And then just more random stuff that there's probably stuff in there I don't even know that I have. And then just more tool storage in here. And then in this corner, this is more or less like the flammable cabinet here. Got brake fluid, got all that kind of good stuff. Carb cleaner, brake cleaner, got some anti-seize in there, WD-40. And then this one here is just basically cleaning supplies and stuff like that. I keep PPE, old parts in here. Like there's muffler, a couple things in here for small block Chevys and a couple things like that. Kind of the memorabilia up top. So we can get into the truck. I'm not going to dive too far into this because I do have a full video on doing just that of this truck. So what we have in front of us is my 1964 C10. In the back, it is fully back half. So basically what that means is I cut it off from right here and I built 2x4 square tubing rails all the way back out. It's got a 3-link with the bag-on bar setup. And I'm currently redoing the bed where I will not be running this raised bed floor anymore, which has a 383 small block with a turbo 350 in it. It's just an old patina truck. It's kind of rough, but I think it's a fun little truck. And then back behind us here is Dad's 72 C10. But Dad's 72 C10 is powered by a small block Chevy 3-speed, kind of like what that is, but this is a 3-speed manual. His is factory short bed truck. And if you've been kind of keeping up with what we've been doing, we did just do a ton of rust repair on this cab and just currently got the bed itself back on. But it's sitting on a 3/5 drop, so it's going to be a 3-inch coil in the front and then a 5-inch flip kit in the rear. This C10 was actually optioned with leaf springs in the rear, which is kind of a rare option, I guess, or a weird option, maybe not rare. But yeah, so now we're gonna get back here and look at all these other trucks. All right, so one of the first projects that's out back here is actually Luke's project. It's the Left 4 Dead truck that we did the revival on. It's a 66 C10. It's got a straight 6 3-speed. It's a long bed truck. This started out kind of as a project, or I guess parts truck for mine. As you can see, the fenders and everything are gone on it, so that's what's currently on mine. So we're in the process of hunting down some parts for this truck, but we'll move on over here to the next one. So this truck is a 1985 Nissan 720. My dad actually purchased this brand new back in 85 or 86, somewhere in there I guess. But this is kind of in pretty sad shape at the moment, but I've got big plans for this truck as well. I've got a bunch of steel over here. I'm planning on making a full frame table and all that good stuff to build a full custom chassis for underneath this truck. The reason it's in the state it is currently is whenever I was about 18 years old, I went and pretty much started doing the whole mini trucker thing and tore this thing down and was going to bag it. And needless to say, I never did anything with it. So I feel kind of obligated to get this one back on the road, so I'm going to probably do that here before long. Hopefully get the frame table built and all that good stuff. Alrighty, so this one is currently pretty much looks like a flower pot at this point, but this is a 66 GMC big back window short bed original truck. So this truck is really clean. I picked it up. There's actually a video of that, picking this one and the 65 behind me up from a buddy not too far away from here. But he's done a lot of the body work and everything like that, like rockers and all that good stuff. But he had all the cutouts and everything, and this truck really wasn't even that rusty. I mean, if it would have been me, I probably wouldn't even have replaced any of that stuff. But yeah, I'm excited about getting this one back on the road and hopefully get it in the shop as well. Basic plans on this one is I'm just going to do a pretty stock build on this, other than I'm going to probably lower it. But I'm thinking possibly going with maybe a straight 6 in this with some kind of maybe an overdrive transmission and just making a really cool cruiser out of this to where I could drive it anywhere. And last but not least, on the project row out here, we've got this 65 long wheelbase step-side truck that we picked up with, like I was saying, that 66 GMC. It's going to be pretty much just a truck we're going to bolt back together because it's been disassembled. All the parts and pieces, as you can see, have been taken off. But it's got a small block in it with a 2-speed power glide, is what we're being told. And it will run. Unfortunately, somebody didn't put the cap back on this gas tank here, and I'm pretty positive it filled up with water because it's reading full in there, and it didn't really smell like gas when we had that thing running. So we got to get that tank drained, potentially probably getting a new one. So this is probably going to be priority number one after we get Dad's truck out of the shop. I want to get this truck in there. And then I'm probably going to be trying to turn this thing, build this thing out just to be a fun cruiser for somebody. It's something you can just go out and enjoy on the weekends and not have to worry about it. But if you're interested in any more of these trucks, comment down below and I'll try to answer any questions you guys have about them. But let's get back into the shop. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the little shop tour off of the main 30 by 40. I don't know, this is probably, I would say 20 something by 30-ish off the side, and that's where the Toyota is. And just some pretty much just junk we've got to accumulate. So get our lawnmower in here, but the thing I wanted to show you mainly was the 71 Toyota Hilux. It is a pretty cool little truck. I've been kicking around the idea of selling this thing, but it is going to be hard to do if I decide to do so. It's got great patina. I mean, it's a good running little truck, but it may be time to pass it on to somebody else. Future game plans in this shop is we're going to try to maybe build us a loft here, and then all that sheet metal equipment that I was talking about on the other side is going to hopefully have a home here, and probably even my lathe. That way I can just kind of keep some of that stuff a little nicer, because I don't want some of that sheet metal tools. I don't want all the sparks and dust and all that stuff getting on the dies for the English wheel and stuff like that when I try to roll that thing. Yep, I guess the last thing is to go check out the van, so let's go do that. So here's a project that Hillary's wanting me to do. She's wanting me to kind of do like a little bit of a rat rod style build with this old Jeep, which I've seen plenty of them done, and they are pretty cool. So if that's something you guys would be interested in, maybe drop it down below. If you'd like to see us do like a budget style, anything we can find, throw it in this thing and get it on the road kind of deal. God, no. Mouse. Oh my gosh, that thing was big. Alright, so we've got the tractor here, which is just a New Holland bucket tractor. I don't know much about tractors, honestly, so I'm not going to sit here and tell you a bunch of stuff. If Luke was here, he could rattle on some BS, but not this guy. I can talk to you about the 77 P300 Coachman that we got. I don't think it's ever been on the channel, which I kind of neglected this thing, which is kind of sad at this point, but it's a 77 B300 high top camper van. It's pretty sick. Me and Hillary have both put a lot of effort into this thing just for it to be sitting back in here. This is another one we've talked about getting rid of, but it's just another thing that I don't know if I'm ready to let go or not. But as you can see, this thing has been pretty much fully refinished. Me and Hillary, we got the bed going again on it. Repainted everything. This thing was actually rolled over when we picked it up, and this complete driver's side was pushed in, so I pushed it all back out with the porter power and we refinished everything. But we've got TVs in here, and like I said, it's a high top. I mean, I'm 6 foot tall, a little bit taller maybe in boots, and I can stand up pretty good. But the TV flops open, plenty of storage there, storage on either side, and our chair here, it's on a swivel. I don't know, just being in here makes me want to get back after this thing because it is cool as heck. It's got a 360 engine in it with a 727 3-speed. So it's a cool little van. It's 3/4 tons, so we could probably hook a trailer to it if we needed to and just go do all that good stuff. But heck, I don't even know if anything's going to be powered up right now or not. But right here is our batteries in the back, and it's our inverter. you press that and then it goes in the back there, and the inverter, it sounds like the batteries are dead, which at no surprise, so I'm just gonna turn that back off. But this thing is completely self-sufficient for, like, we could go off the grid for a little while in it and not have to worry about anything, and we can still run our TVs and all that good stuff. So just let me know down in the comment once again if you would enjoy a video on me maybe getting this old van out, like getting it going again and actually getting this thing out on the road, if that's something you guys would be interested in. I'd like to say thanks to Old Hill up there for doing all the filming. Alrighty, so thanks for hanging in here. Hopefully you enjoyed the little shop tour. If there's anything in the video you've seen in the background or something that I might have missed and you got questions about it, feel free to ask and I'll try to do what I can to get the questions answered. I do appreciate the heck out of every one of you for subscribing and commenting and all that good stuff, but we've got a lot of work to do on this 64 C10, which hopefully you'll see next week, and then hopefully I'll be at Southeastern Truck Nationals next week. So just thanks again and enjoy your day.